Switch, putting the K in magic. I'm Joanna DeVoe, and you're watching another Every Which Way interview. And this time I'm interviewing Nubia I Sutton, the womb priestess and something goddess. I forget her tagline, but it's really cute, and she says it before every video. I'm going to link down below to her YouTube channel, which I highly recommend that you subscribe to after this interview is over, and her website, The Blackberry Beauty, which sells raw, organic beauty products. I loved getting to talk to Nubia. She is a very special woman. I love her energy, but we had so many technical difficulties that we just switched over to audio because we were having a funky connection. Please listen to the entire video. She has some wonderful words of wisdom toward the end, and I really think that it's worth hanging in there to hear what she has to say. So with no further ado, here is Nubia I. Hello, Nubia. Welcome to Every Which Way.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Yes, and for those of you who don't know, I am talking to Nubia I Sutton of YouTube internet fame, and she also has a business called The Blackberry Beauty, where she sells natural health products, and which ties in perfectly to her YouTube channel. Can you tell us a little bit about, well, first of all, the first time I ever saw you on YouTube was you did a video called Raw Beauty, like over 2 years ago, and I was instantly hooked in, like, who is this woman and why am I going to buy shea butter all of a sudden? Can you tell us what made you start making those YouTube videos?
Yeah, sure. So I'm hoping I hear you as clearly as I think, and I really want to, but I do want to tell you a little bit about it. First, I want to say thank you for having me on this program. It's so much fun. So yeah, I started this company called Blackberry Beauty, but Blackberry Beauty is an organic, raw, natural cosmetic company, but it was sparked from something, and that something was telling my stories on YouTube. Just really getting a little camera, and I got onto YouTube, and I started documenting my raw journey. This is actually how the whole thing started. I thought it would be a great idea. I became a raw foodist. I was 6 months into it. I was so vibrant and happy and excited, and I wanted to share it. And somebody told me about this thing called a webcam, and you can buy one and do YouTubes. And it started off almost 3 years, September 2012, and I have almost 200 videos. I think I have 199 videos.
Wow.
It really wound up being great. And the products came from people asking me, well, your skin is so glowing. Is it just more than the food, or what are you using on your skin? Why don't you make products for other people? And I thought, I love to make stuff. I'm creative. I can do it. And that started the Blackberry Beauty and just 200 videos.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of your videos.
It's so cool.
Whoops, we're talking over each other. Sorry. I have been watching your channel almost since the very beginning, and I love it. And I remember thinking that she needs to have her own product line. So, when did you start that? How old is the product line?
So say that last part again, Joanna.
How old is the product line? How old is Blackberry Beauty?
Oh, yeah, okay. How old is Blackberry Beauty?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very new. I don't think I know for a fact that it's not even 6 months old.
Oh.
It's interesting. I say the products for sale is a new idea or concept, but not using the products themselves. I've probably been making my own products for my body. It's shea butter, sea salt scrubs, clay mask, bentonite clay mask, my own toothpaste for about the last 2 years. It wasn't until 6 months ago that I decided to kind of launch this Blackberry Beauty. And it's so fun. Like, I really enjoy actually making everything, and I still make everything.
That's beautiful.
Great.
I love how
Yeah.
you combine health with beauty, because real beauty comes from within, and that has to do with spirit, which you talk a lot about, but it also has to do with what you're feeding yourself, and that's where you began, is with raw food. What prompted you starting a raw food diet?
Yeah, so I hope I heard you correctly, but yes. So beauty, it is. I think that's what my videos are about, and I think Joanna, that's what you've seen. My idea is that we all hear that beauty is truly from within, and I don't know how many of us. It's become such a cliche. I don't know if we take it as seriously, but really, it was the beautiful foods that I was eating. It was the energetic, high frequency energy around kale and collard greens and lettuce and tomatoes that really, the moment that I started to eat it in 3 days, just being raw, I wound up, my skin blemishes, everything started to disappear. So then I started to think, well, we're eating foods, when we put on our cosmetics on our face, 50% of what we put on our bodies go into our bloodstream. And I thought, well, what about our skin food? We're eating this stuff. And why not bentonite clay, which is high in minerals? Why not sea salts, which actually take off all kinds of toxins from your body, and even on an etheric level, on a spiritual level? I mean, I started to really be more conscious of the lipsticks that I wear. They're from this company called Hemp Organics that I get from Whole Foods. So really being more conscious about basically connecting to the earth. What we're really saying is that the trees and the sunset and the sun and the ocean is so beautiful. And how do I connect to those things in my own home? I use sea salt scrubs. I use shea butters from the tree. I use bentonite clay from the earth. I'm connecting to earth and Mother Earth, and it's a great, wonderful feeling. Beautiful.
Absolutely. Do you drink the clay? I know it can pull toxins from the body, heavy metals, I think, in particular. Is that something you drink?
Well, yeah, actually, I do. My favorite drink is absolutely, it's a green smoothie. I know we've seen it all over YouTube, but they are phenomenal. And let me just tell people, I mean, they say a sign of good health is great bowel movements. If I could say, and they keep you beautiful. If you're having good bowel movements, most likely you're having a clean, clear colon, not impacted. And so basically green smoothies are really taking, maybe let's say bananas and strawberries, and putting them in a blender, but you're adding kale or collard greens or lettuce or spinach inside this drink with some ice and water if you prefer it to be cold, and you're blending it, preferably in a high-speed blender. This is it's clearing toxins from your body. Parsley and cilantro remove heavy metals from the body. So,
Okay, so cilantro in your green smoothies.
right. So cilantro and parsley, which I said actually removes heavy metals. But I also wanted to talk about just removing toxins from the body as far as externally. And this is where we come to our bentonite clay, which is an alkaline food. And it is known to remove toxins from the body. It's an aptogen. So basically, it goes into the body and knows every part of the body that needs to be healed and heals it. So not only are you clearing your skin of dark patches, of pimples, of blemishes, you're also feeding your body minerals. Now, how cool is that? I mean, when do we get to use a so-called cosmetic that we put on our face that is actually giving us something, not just beautiful, clear skin? Bentonite does that naturally. So it's very good for removing, some people say, worms from the body. It's a great clean out. It's a great spring cleaning, and it just leaves your skin so clear. And I love it. It's one of my best products. I make my own. I add fresh lemon to it, a little bit of sea salt, and I have a shea moisturizing cream that I add to my my bentonite clay, so that afterwards you're not dried out. You still have a nice, beautiful glow. So I love bentonite clay. Love it.
You definitely glow. I
Oh,
also
thank
I
you.
have to ask you about your hair. It's so entertaining to see what new hairdo you're going to have in your videos. You just celebrated your 1 year napiversary of letting your hair go natural, and then you just shaved it off, which was super fun and kind of shocking. I have a friend that talks about working in the corporate world and how,
Yes.
as a black woman, she feels pressured to wear fake hair to look
Yeah.
professional. And I thought that's such a shame, and that Nubia would be the perfect person to address that. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Great question, Joanna. And yes, so you know, I went on my own hair journey. I, like most black women, have definitely been trying to find myself within the confines of this society that has a look in professional corporate America that they would like to attain, or like you to attain. But you know what I'm realizing? I think that it may be an old, worn out notion or dated notion that we as African American women, we believe that we can't wear our hair natural. We can't shave the sides of our heads, or we can't wear our hair in what we call not appropriate styles or afros, for instance. And I don't think it's true. I think that people, if you come in, do your work, dress neat, nice, be professional, and be who you are, I think that you can rock a mohawk, so to speak, or a baldy on the side. Or so I'm wondering, Joanna, is it really about? I think that we hold on to these. Everyone has it. Every culture, these things that are passed down. So no picture. So we're talking now.
Yes, everybody. We've been having some technical difficulties, so we thought we would continue our conversation in audio for you all to hear the rest of Nubia's hair journey. So can you maybe pick up where you left off and telling us how you feel about your hair?
Yes. So, you had asked such a great question before we got disconnected. And the question was about the dilemma that a lot of black women seem to face when they are adapting or wanting to embrace their natural hair. There's a belief among many African American women that natural hair is not appropriate for corporate America. It's not acceptable in corporate America, and this is why they wear weaves or wigs or other things. From a natural perspective, because that's what I'm on, is always this natural hair journey. Those things are often not good for our hair. Those things often thin our edges, keep our hair very dry, becomes very brittle, and it often breaks. And what I have to say is I want to give out a new message that I believe that black women may want to hear, and that is, I don't know if that old notion of corporate America not accepting us the way we are, our hair the way it is true anymore. Yes, I did say it. I believe that we have been these kind of notions that's passed down in many cultures, as I said before. The notion that black women don't wear your hair when it's wet, or don't go out in the rain because your hair is going to draw back or get nappy or go back to its original state. Or all these things. Now we're realizing that water is excellent for the hair. The notion that we have to straighten our hair every week so that people can accept us. I've worked in so-called corporate America, and my hair has never been an issue with anyone else. And do you know why, Joanna? Because it has never been an issue for me.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, yeah. So I think the deeper question that women, particularly black women, what you may want to ask themselves is it still an issue for you? Is there some part of you that's still afraid to adapt that natural part of yourself? Because as far as America or the world abroad, you come in, you articulate, you do the work, you complete the projects, and you look really beautiful. What is more beautiful than the way that you came into the earth? There's nothing should be more acceptable than the way you are. In America, we always tell our children, just be yourself. Well, maybe we should tell the child in ourselves to just be ourselves, because I think that's the person who really is feeling ugly or not beautiful or not acceptable. I think it stems from something much deeper, Julie.
Yes, and lead by an example. I could talk about this too, and I'm not a black woman, but
That's right.
I don't want black women to look like white women.
That's
I
right.
find it inspiring when I see a woman with an afro walking down the street. It looks sexy. It looks
Yes.
free.
Got it.
I think
Thank
it's great for children to see that. And I
Yes.
also, it reminds me so much of when circuses train elephants, which I hate this practice, but they will chain them to the ground when they're babies.
Wow.
And it has the psychological effect on them that even when they grow up, there's just a measly little rope holding them to the ground, but they've been
Wow.
so conditioned that they don't even try to pull it out of the ground, even though they could and run away. They stay put, and I think maybe that's what's happening here is that women are they think they're still chained by these old ideas when in fact they are the ones that need to set themselves free, and it's just
There you go.
a
There
prison
you go.
a prison
You're
of their
so
own making.
no, absolutely. My boyfriend all the time says we don't have to have other people monitor us. We now monitor ourselves. So
Yes.
you're absolutely right. We are censoring ourselves. We don't, and we haven't realized that. Wow, it's not that anymore. And that's what I hope that my channel brings. It's interesting too about the whole ideal. Like, what is this ideal as women in general that we're trying to seek? What is this very small minority of a look the American society has created? Because I often think of growing up in New York and being living in neighborhoods or going to school with a lot of women of Jewish descent. And a lot of Jewish women in New York at this point when I was growing up, I mean, everything, I'm not definitely stereotyping or saying it's only one way, were very hippie and shapely, had very dark curly hair, and they were ironing their hair, as Barbara Streisand used the term one time, or straightening their hair. So the question is, what is this beauty that we're trying to ascend to when maybe we're all really just beautiful that's the way we are?
Absolutely.
So I would challenge, Indian women or any of the women that have curlier hair, because we all spend a lot on flat irons. So I think that Black women don't definitely have it deeper because there's a historical content to it or context to it. I think that's why. And so, my channel is, if anyone that's listening watches my channel, I think it's a little bit for everyone. I was telling Joanna, people ask me questions and say requests. Oh, can you do a video about this? Can you do a video about that? And and they ask these questions that I think they expecting the normal, if you will, answer. But I'm never that. I'm going, well, let's go deeper. Well, let's think about that.
Oh, yes.
And that's what I'm here to do, to think, to push just a little more and to be healthy well-beings within and without. It's beautiful. I want to say it's simple, but it is.
It's simple, but it's not easy.
Well said.
And that's why I wanted to interview you because, well, for one thing, YouTube has just opened the world up in such a beautiful way in that we don't have to only take in images that the media say are beautiful. We can go seek out people like you who stand confidently in who they are, who dress like a queen. You're wearing earrings that say queen today on them, but you often just look like a queen, like with some of the necklaces you wear and the way you dress. And you approach beauty as something that's almost spiritual. It's a kind of a mind, body, spirit connection that you're promoting, and you do glow, and that's why I was attracted to you when you very first started your channel and made that raw beauty video, like, I don't know, 2.5 years ago or so. I loved that. I watched it several times.
That's so beautiful. I mean, first of all, I'm flattered, and thank you so much. I'm echoing. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. And I want to say, first of all, thank you. Like, wow. It's the truth, and that is it. I'm eating foods that are truthful to me. I'm eating foods that I can connect to something grounding, really and literally. I'm using products. When I make each product, I was thinking, you talked about the spiritual aspect, the holistic aspect. First of all, every clay that I make for your face, the healing clay and the clay toothpaste, I make each one separately and by hand. So I'm often in the sun when I'm making it on my deck. I'm also often listening to Tibetan music as I'm making it. What I believe is there's no part of us that's disconnected from anything, and that we encompass all these things. And how do we bring that back?
But you know what I wanted to say about you outdoors and making all these products and the way that you present yourself, that must be so amazing for your daughter to grow up with a mom like that.
Ah, that's so cool. You know what? People say my daughter is very interesting, but then everybody says, but Nubia, so are you.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you brought that up. My daughter is the most, we used to call her grandma or grandmother. Yeah, when she was like 5 and above. My daughter, I'll give you an example of my daughter, and I'm sure I had to have influenced her. She is 15 years old, and she's in the 9th grade. She goes to an art school, Oakland School of the Arts in California.
Fun.
She's in the 9th grade, but she really wants to go to Japan and do a study abroad program. So she found this program at the local college and made me sign her up for it. So she's like this 9th grader with these grown people, and she's doing excellent. But the funny part is, when my daughter was 5 years old, she said to me, she whispered in my ear, she said, Mommy. I said, yes, baby. She said, I have something to tell you. I said, what is it? She said, I was Asian in my last life.
Oh, yeah. My. I got goosebumps just
Me
now.
too. Yeah. And I said, okay, baby, that's great. I'm glad. Thank you for telling me. And she has never stopped loving all things Asian, particularly Japanese. Never. So, wow. Of course, now she's in the 9th grade, and now she's taking Japanese lessons after school. And now she wants to study it for the whole summer. So my mother said to me before I gave birth to my daughter, she's going to tell you things about the past lives. She's going to tell you things about things that was happening in life. And I want you to be there and listen to her no matter what she says. So when she said that kind of was like, okay, cool. My mom kind of told me about this.
Oh, my God. So, what an amazing lineage of women you come from. How cool. Yeah. From your mom to your daughter.
My daughter. My mom to my daughter. And, though, it's interesting to talk about women and stepping into their power. I ran from it, Joanna. My mom, everybody else's mom, particularly in the African-American culture, are very Christian-based. They go to church. We never went to church. We were like meditating at like 9 and 7. And,
wow.
We were like fasting, and we were reading like Seth Speaks and all these like big meditational, metaphysical books. And we used to get mad, and my mother used to really be into the tarot cards. And, we hear in the back room with the cards going, she's clicking them back and forth. And we were so silly as children. We were like, about 18. Why can't she be like other moms?
Why can't she be normal?
Why can't she be normal?
Oh, I love your mother. I've never met her, but I love her already.
She's a cool person. She passed in 2007, but
Aww. Before
she passed, she said to me, if I knew and had the skill and talent and gift that you have, I would be doing and pursuing my passion to be a holistic practitioner. And I was like, oh, whatever. But 2 years later, after her passing, when you saw me on YouTube, that was because of the words that my mom said. And I realized I just then stepped into my power.
That is so sweet. And I'm sure she has your back from beyond,
Yeah, she does. She told me before she passed, she had cancer. And it's interesting, people that are listening, that having loved ones that are suffering with cancer. She said to me, I was not always able to help you while I'm here, or while I'm here, I can't always help you, but I'm hoping that when I get to the other side, I can help and guide you more. She said that before she passed. And
I believe she can. I believe that.
She is.
You know what? And I know cancer is such a lot of people get into the raw food world because they've experienced cancer and they're trying to heal themselves, or they want to prevent cancer because it runs in their family. You wrote a book. I haven't seen it online, but I did see you talk about it, A Raw Life, My Journey from Cooked to Raw Foods. Is that available to buy?
Well, you know what? It's currently, thank you for asking, it's currently out of print, but it's actually, I talked to the printer, so it'll be back on my website in about a week. So that is available.
Okay, and, can you tell us a little bit about that?
And it's inexpensive. It's $10, and it basically chronicles my journey from cooked to raw foods. But I'll tell you what it's really specific to how to stay raw and be raw in a so-called non-raw world or society.
Yes.
And it really gives you those day-to-day tips. And I'll give you just a couple for our listeners that may be interested in raw food or the raw food journey. Never leave home without raw snacks. And the other one is always eat before you go anywhere, especially if you're going to a barbecue or to a dinner or to a friend's house who may be having a party with food. The other thing is always pack snacks. Snacks can be dried fruit. Snacks can be strawberries chopped up. Snacks can be a container of raw chocolate mousse with cacao. Snacks could be carrots and celery with some raw hummus. And always water, particularly maybe with some spirulina in it. So these are the things that I talk about. I also talk about surrounding yourself around your goals. And if you want to be raw, maybe turning off the television, maybe not looking at the McDonald's commercial with the juicy fat hamburger. I mean, we are still in the society, and those foods are not only appealing, we remember them. It's sensory. So we're feeling it, we're remembering. So I really give you ideas on how to stay raw, and then of course the benefits, my own joy, my personal struggles, my triumphs, and I love the book. I'm going to actually, there's a volume 2 coming out shortly because it's been 3 years now, May 4th.
Yeah.
And I got so much more I've learned and so much more I want to share too.
Fantastic. Can I ask you, many people in the raw food movement have in the last couple of years started adding animal protein to their diets. Susan Schenck, I think is her name, wrote that book Beyond Broccoli about her journey through that. Do you ever incorporate eggs or raw milk into your diet, or are you strictly vegan?
I'm strictly vegan, and let me say why. Not that I'm so above this whole thing. I when people say like, oh, I do 80-20 or I add animal products, or my thing is, how do you do it? Because it messes me up.
Oh,
so
really?
Yeah, like I've tried raw cheese because like I still crave dairy, and I tried raw cheese and I get clogged up and mucousy, and my head is I can't. My third eye feels like it's shut down. I get a groggy head, just really feeling lethargic. And so I think, maybe it's me, So or every once in a while, I'll even add cooked brown rice or maybe some beans, and I get that same tired, mucousy feeling. So my thing is, I may want it, but my body says, oh no, sister, this is you.
Maybe so you're just born to be raw. You need a t-shirt that says that, born to be raw.
Exactly. Born to be raw. So I think it's an individual thing. Like some people may need dairy. Some people may need some protein. Some people may need fish. Like I don't have if you're not eating 100% vegan raw, then you're not a raw food. I'm so way past that.
Yeah.
But I will say, for me personally, it does not work. And let me tell y'all, I keep trying. It doesn't work. So I love when I'm raw. When I'm raw, I'm on it. Spirituality is just my crown chakra is just way open. I'm just lit up from inside out. My energy level is high. And when I eat cooked, I have a cooked food hangover, and I have to recover. And I include cooked meaning even raw cheese, or that's really as far as I went with raw cheese. Mm-hmm. And love the way it tastes. It just does not go down well with me.
Yeah. Well, I like that you're dogma free and that you don't enforce your beliefs on other people that way. I do think we're all so very different. I was 100% raw for a long time, and now I'm somewhere around 80%, and I eat some cooked foods, I eat some eggs, I eat some goat cheese, that kind of thing, and I feel good. I feel better on that. But I've read so many different stories, and I've seen so many different videos, and there's almost like a war going on who's doing it right, and that's always just such a turnoff to me. I think you just what works for you, stand authentically in that, and live and let other people.
That's right. And the idea too is why we don't want to alienate people, but who knows what is the thing. You only know for yourself what that could be. And it's so important. And I think that Oh, I know what I want to say. I wanted to say any amount of raw foods in your diet would be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Any amount of raw foods, more than you normally had, you are 100% doing great. And if you become a vegetarian or vegan, yes, there's proof to it that it, you know, lengthens your life. You know, you live on an average of 10 years longer. I mean, all these wonderful things. But I'm going to say this. If you're eating 100% raw, but you're unhappy, you're stressed out, you're frustrated, I don't know, because I'm about a holistic approach. So how healthy is that?
Yes.
So what else do you have going for you? What else do you do that fulfills your entire life? It has to be more than the food. I see that.
Yes.
I've seen meat eaters or non-vegetarians or whatever who have the most beautiful, happy dispositions, and vegans who, and I'm a vegan, and a raw vegan, who sometimes are not very happy. So that's what I look at. I go by how do you feel every day? You know, most days, you know?
Yeah.
So.
You definitely walk your talk. You're a great example and role model. I hope the people listening to this will hop on over to your YouTube channel and subscribe and go visit the Blackberry Beauty website you have. I'm going to link to both down below, and I strongly encourage everyone to go check them out because you're a light in the world, and I hope that my viewers will let some of that light into their hearts.
Thank you so much. Well, Joanna, I mean, you know, they say like attracts like, and so it's just you, a reflection of you, beautiful one.
Oh, thank
and
you.
I thank you so much. And before I go, I want to say something about just life and how I see it at this point. You know, I'm almost 45 years old, so I've seen some things and so much more to see, but everything is connected and interconnected, and we all need each other. We all depend on each other. And that is what I put into my products, and that's what I believe about the food, but that's also what I believe about this human contact and connection and talking, whether that's via Skype or YouTube or what have you, and that we must find that oneness within us all because it really does exist, and it really all is all there is. And that's all I wanted to say. And I want to say thank you for having me, and thank you to your wonderful viewers, and may they find love, bliss, and much joy.
Thank you so much. Much love to you. Peace and blessings, Nubia I.